time. How do you get it? The other ones are close. Everything's pretty close, but it's not exactly like the universal clock.
Well, the node, they don't move that fast, so it should be at close to the 24 line. I'll have to look at it for you.
How do you change the clock? I mean, my clock is now 5 to 4. How do I get it January to 4 o'clock?
How do you change the date?
Yeah. I mean, what's the date of this clock today?
It's for today, yeah. You just put your left mouse key on the date, and then you go to January 8th, and here's all of these planets crossing the 24. Eric, the North Node was in a grand trine with planets crossing the 24. It wasn't on the 24. That's why.
Right. It was actually my moon that's wrong. It's not.
Okay.
It's not that long.
So if you put your mouse over the planets, it will tell you where they are. But just realize, to keep things simple, this area of the universal clock, it's called the 24 line. When the planets cross here, reversals happen more frequently than not, and you'll be using the 24 setting. So going back to today's date, Uranus is right here. That's why we have the Uranus setting at 24. You see it at 6 degrees Pisces?
Yeah. What time do you want to have in your computer where you live?
Well, for your live planetary clock, you want it set for your time zone or your computer clock, because the program will adjust everything relative to your computer clock and then the exchange. So that's very important. I'll be going into that setup because I want to show you the correct settings for your live planetary clock, and also for Fibonacci retracements. I'm going to be getting into that. But here's Uranus right at the 24, and that's why we're using that setting. And Uranus is going to sit there. So these are all great potential trade setups. As Uranus sits on the 24, I mentioned the faster planets are triggers that aspect slower moving planets. So any planet now that comes along and crosses the 24 will actually be on the 24 line with Uranus here. So you want to pay attention to any planet crossing the 24. You want to put on your 24 settings around that time and look for precise highs or lows at those price levels. So let's see, what's the next planet that's going to cross the 24? Here's Mercury. When Mercury crosses the 24, that means it hits 24, 25 degrees of Aries. It will be together with Uranus. That's a potential reversal date. If you put your Mercury, Uranus lines on your chart at 24, they'll come together. Then we'll have the Sun.
What date is that?
How do you change the date on the clock?
Oops.
You just right click or?
Is your program real time or not? No, you just left click on the date. Yeah, you left click. Well, you have to turn it to real time off first, and then left click on the date, and then a calendar will pop up. So these are all great setups when inner planets cross this line, and then we have Mercury, then the Sun, and the program will tell you these dates. If you click on aspect research, you can just put your left mouse key on any price bar. You'll see here when planets cross the 24, it will say it. I got the moon on here also. There's the Sun crossing 24. Where's Mercury? I don't know where Mercury is, but it will tell you when they're going to cross that point. And those are potential reversal dates, as long as Uranus is going to sit there. And since Uranus moves so slowly, Uranus will probably stay at this 24 line for a few months. So these are all good triggers, and these give you days to look for. I think we'll probably take a 10-minute break, and when we come back, I want to put on the gold chart and show you this exact reversal on the date of the 8th, and how it was also confirmed with price being at the correct level. So here's, with all these planets on the 24 line, we're looking for a reversal. So that gives us the date. We're also looking for confirmation with price being at the right level. So we're looking for the date or aspect, which is time, and we're looking for price to be correct. And that occurred in the gold market, and that was the top. So we're going to set that up when we come back and get into some more charts. The women, I can say I'm an astrologer. They think that's pretty cool. The men, you know, no, yeah, exactly. Except for them. Yeah. I mean, 90% of my clients are women that come to me for stuff that's not financially related. And then like 80% are men that are financial related to astrology. So the men are basically interested in making money. The women are interested in, you know, self-improvement and their love life and what?
He said they're interested in spending it.
Spending it. Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, we're going to get started again. And then we're going to break at 12 o'clock for lunch. But getting back to the universal clock, there's interesting things you can do with this. I wanted to show you. If you click on the external wheel, you can change the step. You can change the price levels too. So if it's for the Dow, for example, you can start prices at 9,600. And you can change the step, which has to do with factoring. So if you change the step to 10, then the price lines will be at multiples of 240 here. And it's not showing up very boldly on the outer wheel here, but it's 9620. It'd be plus multiples of 240. So you can change the step. Instead of 24, it can be 240, depending on the market you're looking at. So you click on external wheel and change the price and step there. Also, by the way, that low in March of 2003, I looked it up, it was March 12th. And it was a Venus-Neptune crossing the 24. So you just go to the year 2003, March, click on March 12th, and you'll see it right here. You see Venus and Neptune are together at this point. Well, they're together, so you can't really see it. But let's go to the 11th, you'll see Venus. There's Venus. Came together right there. And why don't we do a quick exercise here. So let's pull up the S&P cash chart, a daily chart. I got on these indicators from yesterday, the last couple days, the Fibonacci trader. I got their ergodic candlestick oscillator. And if you have your daily data, let's scroll back to the March 12th low. You can put your crosshair, click on your crosshair and put the mouse cursor right on the price bar. It will tell you the range. Then if you click on the bar, it'll pop up, aspect research will pop up. You'll see Venus conjunct Neptune, Venus crossing the 24. You see that? So you have to think, using this program effectively requires that you think. Sorry. You have to ask yourself, what's the harmonic, what's the setting, what's the aspect? So if there's a conjunction with Venus-Neptune at 360 and Venus crosses the 24, right, is a 360 the conjunction, a multiple of 24? Yes. So if we have a low at the 360 line, that would also be the 24 line, right? But that would be particularly strong if it was the 360 line because it's the first harmonic. They're the same. So what you would then do, I'm just going to delete this. We're going to go, I'm going to show you how you set this up. You would go to planetary lines. You'd click on Venus, click on Neptune. If I'm going too fast, let me know, I'll slow down. Okay, let's delete. Okay, step one, we click on aspect research. You can do this after you don't have to be a hero and pick the exact top or bottom. But you see a potential bottom, you're prepared. You see a potential reversal date around the 12th. And a gentleman asked me, is it always on that day? No, it's not always on that exact day. Sometimes it can be 1 or 2 days before or after the aspect. You have to be prepared. It's not always on that exact day of the conjunction in Venus crossing the 24. But on the 12th of March, 2003, it was. It can be before or after sometimes. But usually it's on the day or within a day or two of the aspect. So you would click on the price bar, and you have a whole series of aspects. We're going to ignore the moon aspects because we're not day trading. We're looking at a potential longer-term change in trend. We see Venus conjunct Neptune, Venus crossing the 24. That gives us information on our planetary lines and settings. We then go to planets, planetary lines. We double-click on Venus price line. It's added to our indicator. Is everybody doing that? Then we scroll down to Neptune price line, double-click on that, it's added to the indicator. We highlight the Venus line. Now, you notice my settings, they default to G15N0. I set them that way. You can change the default on your settings. When you get your program, it defaults to H Helio 24. I use a geocentric approach, so I changed mine from H. You can double-click on the H or the setting, and it will change it. I changed mine to G from H, and I changed my universal clock division to 15. Why do I use 15? My favorite setting. It covers the whole spectrum of aspects except the quintile, the 72-degree aspect, which you can use 12 for that one, and the biquintile, the 144-degree aspect, which is a multiple of 12. But other than those two, it covers the whole spectrum of aspects. So it's my favorite setting, and I have my default set to that. But we have a conjunction, so we're going to put 360 on. And then you click on exit, and then we edit the Neptune line. We type in 360. We click on exit. Nothing appears. G. So all your settings should show G 360 N0.
But if you click say as a default, every mask change or only the planet is choose?
I'm sorry, question?
Can you double click the edit mask?
Oh, the edit again?
If you click on save as default.
Yes, save as default. It will change that.
Only this mask
or on all these, every time you click on planetary price line, if you click on save as default, it will pop up as that setting.
But he's asking just for Neptune or for all planets?
No, just for Neptune. Just for Neptune, just for each planet. Thank you. You're a translator too. You're a mini translator. Your talents.
But he was speaking English there.
Yeah. Sometimes I need, translation in both.
France need to understand.
So yeah, once you save it, it's only for that line. Yeah, I assumed you meant just that line. Yeah, just for that particular line. Not good to assume anything, is it? So nothing shows here. So what does that mean? Does that mean we're wrong? We don't have a precise low and nothing's happening here?
How about the mirror?
No. So now what we have to do is adjust the factor.
Is this a big chart, John?
This is a daily price chart for S&P cash. Okay, I'm having you scroll back to March 2003.
So what do we want?
Okay, so we change it to -1, and there's nothing showing up.
No.
So let's go click on Neptune -1. Of course, nothing's going to show up there. Let's go to -2. And what do we see?
Line.
Okay. Now notice these price lines are, the lines are thick. Very thick. That's because it's a 360 line. It's always the thickest line. Now you can color the bar based on the aspects. If you click on planets and then aspects, you can click on angle between planets, click on edit, go to planets, go to Venus and Neptune, and type in 0 for the conjunction. You can make the price bar thicker. It will color the price bar for that aspect. And actually, every price bar will be colored when Venus and Neptune were conjunct based on that aspect. Yeah, this is the S&P cash. INX, I have INX, S&P cash. Yours is dead on? Okay, it's dead on, so I don't know. So once again, you go to planets, aspects, you add angle between planets, you highlight it, edit, and then you type in the planets you want to look at, and then the angle for 0 for the conjunction. So we have a precise low based on this factor. This is S&P cash.
The S&P cash is different than the S&P yesterday.
Well, there's the futures and the cash.
Right.
Yes.
And then there's the mini S&P.
Right. E-mini. Yeah. And the big S&P futures and S&P cash.
I think that's what those.
Okay. Maybe that's the problem. Yeah. I said. Yeah. I say S&P cash. So if at factor -2, how far apart are these lines at the first harmonic? 36 points. First harmonic. 36 points apart. Now, if you did not adjust the factor, you would not have determined that this was a precise low. You wouldn't be looking correctly. Now, 36 points makes a lot of sense for this market. That's a pretty decent move. It's a lot of money. 36 points make or break a lot of people.
Yeah. Mine doesn't have the precise wall. I'm on. We don't have the right index.
Yeah, I don't think you have the right index. Well,
I have the go to the bottom of the bar and
yeah, if you want to know the level, the precise low was at 788.90.
Yeah, okay.
That should be where your low is based on the Venus-Neptune first harmonic line.
My line is 787. My line's off. My price speed is 1.
We'll take a look at it. It should be right on. So it's right on for everyone else over here, so I don't know. In any case, it was a precise planetary low. And on the universal clock, you'll see planets crossing the 24 line right here, Venus and Neptune. And the market never looked back after that day.
But it seems like it's fine.
The bar rate.
Looks like this is where a lot
Okay, let's throw up a chart for June gold, page 10, and I'd like you to recreate the top based on the 4 planets crossing the 24 line in January of this year, 2004. I'm going to get rid of some of my indicators here. I'm going to clean up my chart. Yeah, does everybody have June gold? If you don't, maybe you can look at somebody else's. Can most people recreate that chart? Okay, if you can't, I'll walk you through the process, but basically, no, it's a different one. So basically, we're going to universal clock. We determined already on January 8th, we have this cluster of planets crossing the 24 line, and they're all trine one another. If we click on aspect research, you'll see the sun crossing the 24. You'll see Jupiter trine the north node, north TN 120. That's the 120 setting you could set up. And then we had the sun trine Jupiter right here, the 120 setting. So I have the sun line now. If it factors -1, I have at factor -0 in your book on page 10. And then I have Jupiter mirror at factor 0.
You got the sun at mirror too.
Right. The sun and Jupiter at the 0. And this is how it looks. Now we're going to add the north node also, just so you see how they come together. So you click on planetary lines, north true node, price line. We're going to put in 120. Double click on the N, it turns into a Y. And there it is. So the universal clock, planets coming together on the wheel, the aspects, the grand trine tell you when. The price line tells you where. At what price?
What contract, what symbol are you using for gold?
It's June, the symbol, if you go to edit symbol parameters, GC04M, as in Mary. Where are the price lines? Tell you where. You're looking for the correct price levels. So we're looking for confirmation. We're not just looking at a reversal date, we're looking at confirmation. But you would have missed this one if your factor was wrong, or what if you didn't have the mirror setting on? Look how off you would be here. You wouldn't think there's a precise high here.
Would you click on your aspects or your
G120N0. What if you had your planetary line set at the non-mirror setting instead of the mirror setting? You think nothing's happening based on that reversal signature.
It was at the top, right? So you just have to experiment. So normally you go to a mirror to work at the bottom.
Well, sometimes it works at the top. So basically, you're going through a process where you're adjusting the mirror, you're adjusting the factor, and you're observing if it's right or wrong. So you can't stop with your analysis at the non-mirror 0 setting just and think that it's not right. So you could go a step further and adjust the factor to -1. And that's off also. You think, oh no, okay, we don't have confirmation based on this factor at the non-mirror setting. Right? I colored the bar, the blue bar here for the Sun-Jupiter trine. Notice we just had another Sun-Jupiter trine. By the way, when you see a particular aspect, you can run pairs of planetary aspects and look for correlations with tops and bottoms or with price being in the same range, and that's a very helpful tool also. You can run planetary pairs. So you can run, I have Sun-Jupiter planetary pairs on the chart here. And once you put one on, it will color the bar for the next time it occurs.
Ken, I think most of us who stayed with the seminar earlier in the week think this would be a great chart for you to send Dennis.
Okay. He trades gold?
No, he just likes all the lines.
Okay, cool. Well, you know, I'll tell you yesterday during the, I'm going to go ahead for a minute here and show you something. We have a feature called planetary prices. And what was the range of the Russell yesterday? Was it 670 or something?
No.
670 was 560? Yeah, 560. There's a feature in the program called planetary price lines. You can type in a high and low value. And we just had a Jupiter-Saturn sextile over the weekend. So I typed in the 60 setting. I adjust the factor to -1. I clicked on Jupiter and Saturn. And maybe it wasn't -1. Let's see what I had here. No, it was -1. And these gave me all these support levels. I think it was I had both on here, and it gave me all these support and resistance numbers yesterday. One of them is at 560. It might be kind of hard to see back there, but that nailed that low. And one of the trades, a sell signal Dennis got during the day was right when price was approaching 560. And that was at the Jupiter-Saturn. That's the 6th harmonic, 60 setting at 560. And I'm thinking to myself, no, don't take that one. No, I had to stop myself from saying anything, you know. That was his system, was about to, you know, give a sell signal. But that was right at support, and that held the low, and we reversed right. If you remember yesterday, we reversed back up off of 560. That would be way too many lines. Based at -1, how far apart are the lines at 60? 6 points. So that's the harmonic vibration based on the Jupiter sextile Saturn aspect. And that nailed that low at 560. I'm thinking, no way, don't take that trade, and we bounced back up and had we had a pretty good move back up off of 560. Well, this was the right factor for yesterday's prices for the Russell. But all of these planetary lines, they complement Fibonacci numbers, and they coincide with many of the numbers Dennis had in his demonstration, the Fibonacci levels.
That was the aspect yesterday, Jupiter-Saturn?
That was Jupiter sextile Saturn over the weekend. So you can use this this tool if you want to know like price ranges and support levels. You can adjust the factor. You can adjust the price range. If you want to look at the Dow, you can type in 10,000 for a high. You can type in 9,600 for a low. Here's Jupiter-Saturn at this factor, -1, Jupiter-Saturn 6th harmonic. Here's what it looks like, -2. And this gives you these support levels that you could also put on your price chart. So another, nice feature.
So, you do more than 2 planets on that thing? You put like you had a trine, which one or?
Yeah, you can add more planets and adjust it. Yeah, you can put whatever you want.
So how do you use it like once a week or something like that? You make additional lines on your price chart. How often do you use that? Kind of get that, but not necessarily.
Well, if you don't want to recreate a contract and you basically want to know where the support resistance levels are for any price range, or without creating a contract, you can just type in a high and low value and the planets you want, and they'll pop up on the screen.
So if you had like a square coming up, you would put a 90 degrees and you would like.
Yeah, you would adjust the settings just the same way as you would for the planetary lines. Like here's 90. Okay? And then it tells you the price levels and the dates. So
with that particular thing, we saw like the purple line or the yellow, wherever they cross, in some places we want to know what that price was, right?
right.
Okay, because that's some sort of an aspect. In that case, a square.
Right, correct. You're getting it. Okay, going back to the gold chart, the point I'm trying to make here my chart's getting messed up here. I have the Sun trine Jupiter aspect. I have the -1 setting at the non-mirror. And that's not right either. But if we edit the line to mirror and factor 0, that gives us the right precise high. So these are steps you have to go through. You have to adjust for the mirror setting, you have to adjust for the factor, and don't just stop based on one factor and without looking at all these other possibilities. And then when you see something precise like that, you know you're right. And you notice the sun line, the mirror line coming down is the actual 360 line because it's thicker. So that's the strongest price line. And that actually served as resistance with the price coming down in the downtrend. You see how well that held going down? So that's what alerted me to get out of the fund, my gold fund. I switched, I'm market timing a Franklin Gold Precious Metals fund. I go in and out of that, I'm kind of position trading with that. That alerted me to get out. And I was on the sidelines till just recently, whether I'm right or wrong. And I'll tell you why, because of the precise low based on the next Sun-Jupiter line. In this case down here, we adjust the mirror to non-mirror -1. Is it -1? There it is. So we just got a recent planetary low at the mirror setting -1. And at 120, how far apart are the lines at -1? 12? You see that one? That was the day after the Sun trine Jupiter aspect at the 120 mirror line -1. That nailed it. And we happen to be at the top of the last Sun-Jupiter trine. Right? There's the last Sun-Jupiter trine. At the top, Sun-Jupiter at the bottom, the day after, right at the mirror line in this case.
How do you decide, though, when you pick a date? I mean, there's the eighth, what do you call them?
Aspects, there could be 8 aspects.
I mean, you analyze each and every one.
Well, usually there's not that many aspects on one given day, and some will be stronger than others. If you really want to do the work, you'll be putting the planetary lines are, and you're looking for points where they all come together. There's a confluence. That's what you'll be looking for. But you can get reactions and reversals off of any of those price levels based on these aspects.
Does the sun work so well because the sun controls gold as a
Well,
some sort of relationship?
yeah, with certain commodities, there's more of a sensitivity to some planets than others. But any planetary aspect can bring a reversal in any commodity if it's precise. Depends on the level of the price level. But I like using the sun lines for gold. Actually today we have a lunar eclipse. It's in a T-square with the sun and the nodes and Neptune. So the 4th harmonic is going to be strong, or the 8th harmonic, 45. And yeah, I can show you how you would set up the lines for that. You'd be using the 90 or the 45 setting for the sun, Neptune, and North Node on all your charts for the whole week.
Why do you call it T-square?
Because it forms a T.
Question,
Good answer.
do you just have Jupiter and the Sun on there, or is there something else in there? You have to look at?
That's the North Node. Yeah.
All 3 in the previous chart.
Yeah, so I can delete that.
What is the North Node?
The North Node is the path of the ecliptic, where it crosses the path of the moon, and there's a north and south point. And those are very sensitive points, and I always use...
It oscillates north and south of the ecliptic.
Well, there's a north and south point. It's just an intersection point between the path of the moon and the ecliptic, apparent path of the sun from the Earth's perspective.
What's really fascinating about this is right on the day of the aspect, we've got the price of gold crossing the exact sun line, but then it had to go down and touch off the exact Jupiter line the next day to complete the action.
Mm-hmm.
Got a question now.
But see how precise that is? That's what you're looking for. That's the sort of things you watch.
This morning, like for instance, right now, gold went as high this morning as 394, I think.
Is it up?
Yeah.
Good, I'm making money. I'm happy.
When you see this now, you see some things happening here. From what you see up here on the chart, you see the price of gold going from 394 to like 391 right now. What does that tell you by looking at that chart?
Well, that's a good question. Gold is at 394.
That was the high. It was about 391, 392.
Okay, well, when you see a low at one planetary line, that vibration is strong. So that serves as resistance on the way up. And you notice how the 2 trading days later, that resistance held the high. So that was Friday. What was that, Thursday? Today's Tuesday. Yeah, that was Friday, I believe. That held as resistance. And we came back down from that. Now we broke above. That is a continuation signal and a very strong positive indicator that should take price up to the next range up here, just above 400. So that's a real good sign when actually planetary support resistance fails. It's a confirmation of a significant reversal. So actually I was watching for that because resistance held here. I was watching for a break above 391.
And how would you extract that though? I mean, would you go down to a much lower time frame and if it hits that, where the lines cross, you say, well, let's enter and...
It depends. The question is, how do you trade it once you get a precise low, right? It depends on your trading plan and trading approach. What I do is I like to buy as close to the planetary line as possible. So if I'm looking at a daily chart, I'll change time frames. I'll change to like a 15-minute chart, and I'll look for a technical buy signal with one of my indicators that I use from Fibonacci Trader, and I'll enter as close to that line. And then my stop loss is always just below the planetary line. So my entry points are usually very close to the line. So you can buy or sell tops and bottoms with this market timing system once you learn how to, do it. But the most important thing here is we had a Sun-Jupiter reversal at the mirror setting -1 at the bottom. Hopefully it's a bottom that lasts for a couple weeks. But at the top, what was the setting? It was a different factor at the top. It wasn't factor -1, it was factor 0. So that's why I mentioned at the beginning with these core concepts that factors is one of the most important things of the list. You have to adjust the factors, and not enough has been talked about that, I feel, in the past. And I mentioned that a lot at our users group.
So when you're not factoring price,
This is factoring a price. The price lines are factoring price based on the aspect and harmonic.
So when you used to watch the charts going up, I always plus side and then coming down in the mirror, like reversing. That's not how you do it.
That's not a set rule, no.
It's not a set.
No. I mean, oftentimes I'll use the mirror when prices are coming down, or when planets are retrograde, I like to use the mirror. But it can be a mirror when the trend's up or down. You have to just put it on there and see how price responds. So you got to do the work.
So the best thing to do the work, as you're saying, is when you're looking here, you see the aspect, and so you got to look at all these 4 or 5 different ways of how to look at that aspect.
That's right. That's right.
You be there somewhere.
You look for it. Yeah. Don't give up.
You have to hit the right.
Yeah. The premise I have with all of this is every top and low, which you have to prove to yourself, will be related to some aspect. Every top or bottom. And what I recommend on the tutorials that I just did at our website is to take any price chart and click on a top or bottom and determine and put the planetary lines are and determine what that was. And if you do that 100 times as your assignment. I mean, I've done it thousands of times. Do that over and over again, and you'll have, that's how you develop confidence in this whole market timing system. You know that it's not random, you know what to do, what to look for.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what the plan going direct, right? The plan going direct would be different. That would show us. Because sometimes the markets change to the plan going direct.
Yeah, that would have to do with the timing of the day. Yeah, when planets go retrograde or direct. But in relation to this, we're dealing with harmonics, so you'd be looking at an aspect.
So it's always something on a harmonic.
Yeah, right.
If you can't find a harmonic, maybe it's plan goes direct. Another way.
Well, that would tell you, that a direct or retrograde planet would tell you a day of reversal, but not the price level. You'd be looking at the harmonic for that.
I think what the next might be asking, could you explain when Mercury went direct this past Friday? What happened? I mean, how did it affect you?
Right, well that tells you a day for a potential reversal, and that was close to the bottom last Friday, but it doesn't tell you the price level. You have to set in a harmonic. Mercury went direct, very close to trining Pluto, and very close to a semi-square Uranus. So that would give you the harmonic of 120 and 45, which would tell you the correct price level based on that. So what you would do is you'd click on aspect research, and here it is on the 29th showing direct. You would click on the next day, you see Mercury semi-square Uranus. So you would set in your Mercury Uranus settings at 45, for example, and you'd be looking for that price level. And in fact, that was the correct price level for the E-mini. I'll show you. It was the Uranus 360 line, which is very strong. Why is Uranus 360 line strong right now? Because Uranus is crossing the 24. Here's the bottom here on Friday. We broke through support at the Saturn, Jupiter-Saturn 360 line. Below, right there, that's the Uranus 360 mirror line. We have Uranus crossing the 24. We had Mercury semi-square Uranus, and Mercury going station direct indicates the time of a turning point at the right price level. And we've been up since then. Where are we right now, Rich, on the E-mini? 1116. So we got resistance up in this zone here, 1118 to 1120 and a half. These are my settings. The thick green line is the Sun 360 line. Why do I have the Sun 360 line on? We have a lunar eclipse, Sun square Neptune. How do you get this information? You click on the price bar, aspect research pops up. Here's Tuesday, Mercury trine Pluto, Jupiter direct, lunar eclipse. This is a huge astro date. Sun square Neptune the next day on Wednesday. Sun square Neptune 90. So really this is it's simpler than you think. Once you know what to look for and you get in the habit of doing it. Sun square Neptune, I put in my sun line here at 90. I have factor -2, meaning the points the lines are 9 points apart for the E-mini. The program does a factor conversion when prices are above 1,000 or above 10,000. So in this case, factor -2 is going to be 9 points apart. That's the thick 360 line. So that's resistance today. I don't know if we broke above 1120 and a half or not.
That wouldn't it work the same way? Let's say you had a factor of, let's say -1. And let's say you looked at 90. It was 90 across, you had 90 degrees there. So what if you use multiple harmonics? It's 90, half a 90, 30. 15 is all multiples of 90.
Yeah, the question. Well, the question is, can you use I call what are called inner harmonics of the square of 90, like multiples, like 60 or 30? Yeah, you could. You could. You may not know because then you're dealing with enough lines. You may not have to adjust the factor. You can. However, this 90 is the strongest one because it's based on the actual aspect, the square of 90. And if it's a first harmonic sun line, that's going to be stronger than just the fourth harmonic sun line because it's first harmonic. But you can do what you're saying, but it's just not going to be as strong as the 90 setting because that's based on the actual aspect. And I want to keep things as simple as possible. But there's the precise low at the Uranus 360 line.
So, in real time, 2 bars back, prices going along. What are you thinking in your mind? There's another line coming up, maybe it's going to hit it, maybe not. So it hits it. So then what do you do? Because if you go back like 5 bars, there's a bar that closes on the blue right up there, doesn't hold, it shoots through. So I'm just trying to figure out how you decide, okay, this is going to hold, trigger in, or wait for the next bar, but then it's going down. I mean, at what point do you decide I'm going to enter? Because at the end of the day, it's fine to say you hit the low, but in real time, thinking process.
Well, my thinking process, what chart is this? This is a 15-minute chart.
So before that bar, let's go back 3 bars. You see that
This one? This bar?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you see the next one. What are you thinking in your mind?
Well, the low happened right at the close on Friday. So I'm taking no trade there. But if I want to enter as close...
It was in the middle of the day.
Right. Well, then I would look for a flip. I have a technical indicator I use here. It's the dynamic trio. I would look for a break above that and a break above this bar, the high of this bar, or whatever technical indicator you like to use, and you could enter that way. I may even enter overnight and put my stop underneath the Uranus line here, and I always, of course, limit your risk. Your stop loss is always predefined. If your trade's based on a reversal off the planetary line, that defines your risk too at that point.
So if you have a stock already in the market, you go the other way, or you wait until you close the line and then say, okay.
Yeah, I watch what happens to see if support holds there, and then I'll enter with a technical indicator. My stop loss is underneath the planetary line.
You use your Hartle oscillator and then you got it.
You use the Hartle oscillator, that's right. HPO, that's easier to say. Not HBO, HPO.
Yeah.
I have a question about the gold chart. It has the two aspects. Is it just coincidence they happen to form as a pair? Or is that more than coincidence?
What, the Jupiter, Sun, Jupiter? Well, the Sun-Jupiter trines happen, regularly during the year. How often does that happen? 2 times a year. The trines, every 4 months? Every 4 months. So then that's how often it happens, twice a year. That particular aspect pair, and then we're looking for the right price level.
So when you see these aspects, I guess, looking at things, it's an indication that you're at a turning point. So you either tighten up your stops or use your technical indicators to maybe take a position.
Well, you're preparing, if you're short gold and you see a Sun-Jupiter trine and you have your planetary line set up correctly, you're looking to cover and reverse position or get out. That's a profit point. These are called profit points. Now we broke through this planetary line, but that's like a week ahead of the aspect. Now we're getting close to the day of the aspect, so this is a profit point right here around 380. So that alerts you when to cover, when to get out, take profits, the time, the price level, and think about reversing your position.
So the way of looking at this too, from a technical perspective, if you bounce above 391, if you weren't out, you would either get out and then reverse direction. If you bounce above 391.
Broke above resistance here?
Yes.
Yeah, well, technically that would be above this bar. That would be a continuation. That would show strength that we broke above resistance. Yeah, you better get out. Unless you're a longer, depends on the time frame and if you're longer term position or not. This is a daily chart. On a weekly chart, that may not be the case. You might be a longer term trader. You're not going to pay attention, but I wouldn't want to take a chance,
That's your favorite Fibonacci indicators? Like dynamic field?
Yeah, some of the ones I use, if you get into the indicators, I use the dynamic trio on and next. I use the high-low activator on and next. In any case, that's how it looks. I like the dynamic trio.
What exactly does the dynamic trio look at when that's going into too much detail?
Well, it has to do with, it's like a proprietary indicator from Fibonacci trader Robert Krauss came up with. I don't have the formulas, but it's a more sophisticated, like moving average, symmetrics approach.
Okay. So that versus the high-low activator, which one do you find that you like that?
I like both of them. The high-low activator, someone's is a little bit tighter than the dynamic trio, but here's a high-low activator defining the trend down. And you see, what's nice too is when the high-low activator comes together right at the Sun-Jupiter line here. So when we break above that, that's a double buy indicator. It's above technical and planetary resistance.
Can you just remain the main top of
The main top?
December.
Okay, you want to go back to December? By the way, this is a good way to paper trade too. Is if you click on the right, upper top right square, you can scroll the chart forward and backwards, and you can click on one bar at a time. Huh? Or hit the space bar, and you can paper trade this way. You can test your system. You can take a previous top or bottom, put on a correct planetary high or low, and trade it one bar at a time. So you want to look at the January top again? There it is. Okay.
That top?
Yeah, this is the top, yeah.
The first one.
This one?
The main.
Where we started out.
On the left.
You want to go forward? This one? Okay.
Because the gold contract starts the natal chart in December of 74.
The natal chart for gold. New York gold, yes, December 74.
The sun is, the transit, the sun is of the same degrees of the natal sun in that region.
Was it?
Is another setup. Is another possible.
Yeah, if you're looking, the question is there's a transit with the sun to the natal chart for gold. Yeah, that's another way of analyzing this. That has to do with the natal chart. Yeah, it's another approach. And we have a program called the Stock Trader that has all that info, and you can analyze it that way too. Yeah, but it's not necessary if you set up the planetary lines and harmonics correctly and look for the confirmation with price and time. But that would be additional confirmation if you're looking at that.
Are you using gold? Are you using gold to time the neutral clock? Do you ever use the neutral clock itself?
Use gold to what?
You're using gold to time the neutral clock? Do you ever use the neutral clock itself or gold?
Oh, that I get into? Yeah, I use both. But actually, I just trade off the XAU because it follows that perfectly. Yeah, and the gold stocks too. You know, they usually move together. So.
Hey, Pat, with that reversal, do you have any information at all that would give an idea as to the degree of the reversal versus more chop or sudden reversal?
Okay, question is how far and the degree of that reversal? Well, one answer to that question would be the harmonics related to the bottom. Here, if it's a trine of 120, I'm looking at multiples of 12. But you notice up here, what's that this thicker blue line? You want to pay attention to that. That's the 360 first harmonic line. So that would be what? What's the price level? About 415. I'd really be careful there, okay? Because that's a point we could get a reaction, and that may be all as far as it goes if we go that far. I'd be very happy with a move back up to 415 from 380. Yeah, you could combine that with Fibonacci retracements. I do, and that's actually one of my, that's one of my techniques I'll be showing you. And one of the retracement tools is the Fibonacci retracement tool. You can click on the high and the low, and it will tell you if there's a confluence there. And this is a 618 right there. So it's almost at that point from the high and the low.
You use 50% with this 38.
I have a whole set of parameters, which I'll be showing you probably tomorrow. But these are the parameters I use. If you want to copy those, I'll give it to you right now, since you asked.
Yeah, I wonder if you took that Fibonacci parameter at the sun line and took